Well, my poor car has been sitting in this position for the last 3 weeks waiting for this part here. It's just a little hydraulic ram that operates the bow lock. Before we start, here's a little warning. Hi guys, I'm just advising you about a company called emanualonline. There they are there, and they're supposed to do workshop manuals. Well, what they do actually is take your money and give you nothing, and I'm just warning everybody out there to have nothing to do with this company. Okay, thank you. This is the bow lock. It fits in the centre back there of the cover for the canvas roof, and there's the lock part up here that latches onto it to hold the rear of the roof down, and it has a hydraulic cylinder mounted on it to pull it open. So now I'm going to put it back on the car. I'll just put that there for a minute, and I'll mount this hydraulic cylinder on it, and here we go. The cylinder thread screws into this latch here, and the golden rule is only put a spanner on the edge of the where it's got the slot there for the spanner, because you don't want, the last thing you want to do is damage the shaft of the hydraulic ram. So because I've got the camera in one hand and the other, I'm going to screw this in there and extend it back here, open the lock to the back, and put the 2 bolts back in there. Right, I've got my little cylinder mounted back on the bow lock, and these little Allen head screws have a 4mm head on them. Okay, now I'm going to put it back in the car. There's only 3 bolts. Hold it up in here, goes in like that, whoops, like that. So I'll just bolt that back up there now. These are just a 10mm socket to for those 3 bolts to bolt it back on. Now I'm going to join the wires here for the switch and put the hydraulic lines back on. Right, I've got the bow lock back on the car, and now I'm going to test it. Okay, this is the ECU for the roof, and so what we do, we unplug this side of it here. If I there we go, push that piece in, pull that piece out. Right, now there's a heap of brown wires just here, and we get the brown wire off this one, put it to negative, to frame. That is the negative, and there's a yellow and green wire here, and what I'm going to do is jump that to the battery. That's a positive, and I shall rig that up now. When I put the active wire onto the battery, you should hear the solenoid click in. There it goes. That's for the valve for the bow lock. Now what I do is jump out off the relay here on the pump, number 30 and 87, which is here and here, and we run the pump. and we make sure we've got no leaks, and nothing is leaking, so we know that's okay. So what I'm going to do now is put that tin cover back on here. Then I'm going to run the roof up and down a few times to get the air out of the hydraulic system. Okay, now I've got to put this pump back in position. It just has 3 bolts holding it in, one each side here and one up the back there. So I'm going to mount it back in position. Right, the pump's back in position, and now I'll put this metal cover back on over it. Just a few screws. Now I'm going to, I've got that back in there. Now I'm going to put the liner back in. It's just a squash fit. There's nothing that clips it on. And I'm going to make sure I drape my wire through for my boot lamp here. Here we go. Okay, that's back in. Now I put in the top liner of the boot. It goes there. Okay, the liner's back in again. I'll just put the back seat in, and that's it for today. So if you ever want to remove that bow lock, just do everything I did in reverse order. Okay, bye for now.